This is the Boogie. Blah, blah, blah. We've had a few drinks.
He's had one.
Well, no. I've had a bit more than that.
Lightweight.
Michael Eppleston, Eppo.
Jeez.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for dinner.
No worries.
Mm.
How was the burg?
It was great. I followed your advice on the mayo Barbie onion combo.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm up on the Sunshine Coast for the first time in my life. The sun was indeed shining, and the water was warm as hell.
Sweating.
Oh man, it's like 8 o'clock, and is it 8 o'clock? Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. Sweating.
Yep.
You were telling me a really cool story just over dinner, and I want to go back there real quick. And it was kind of this story about how you got here, because I find it funny to come to a place like this when you live in a place like Port, because I'm from Foster. Many people know that who listen to the podcast. And how do you move to another coastal village of like a similar kind of size? Because it is a similar size here, right, to Port? Would you say?
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
Touch bigger.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get here?
How did I get here? I went around Australia in '99, and Chris had followed my career, so we've been together since she was 16. So so we've been together, and she said, "I just don't want to wake up in Port and 20 years are gone." So we packed up and went around Australia.
Right.
And we were sort of looking to see, and we ended up at Burleigh. You know, so my career was coming to an end, and I got the job at Billabong and things like that. And I was bringing up the daughters on the Goldie, but I was also managing the Billabong Junior Series. I was sort of helping out with the contests and that. And I was seeing how bad they were to girls on the Goldie. So I was like, I ain't bringing my daughters up here.
Really?
Yeah, so then we went back around Australia. We lasted 6 years on the Goldie.
Right.
And we went up the East Coast. We lined it up with Mike Stewart. So he brung his family out, and we all met at Borley Point and started there. So he brung Lise and the 2 kids, and we had our 2 kids, and we stayed at Borley for just about 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, and then we sort of drifted up the coast, got to Sydney. We split ways there. We took them out to the Blue Mountains and showed them that, and where Krista grew up, because that's where she grew up. And then I went out west to see all my relations, and he went up the East Coast, and then we linked back in at the Gold Coast, and went up to the sunny coast, and then I kept going on to, right up to Cooktown, and then came back.
Okay.
But then we had our kids booked in at Byron, and I sort of got to a point where I was trying to rely on uni students from bloody Lismore, and I knew uni students didn't have money, so I went to the council. I was going to put beach umbrellas.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, so the beach chairs and umbrellas. That's right. I love that bit. I was like, that's a cool idea.
What can I do? And I thought, you see it all over the world, beach umbrellas and chairs, and hire them out. So I went to council, and that wasn't getting anywhere. Not in Byron Bay, you know.
Funny,
So my mate that I met going around Australia, he owned a caravan at Nambour.
Yeah. So where's that exactly compared to here? That's like further out. And
It's where the crows fly upside down.
Okay.
Because there's nothing worth shitting
There's nothing worth shitting on.
I'm only doing this because my mate's going to listen to this. He's going to hate it. Because he's changed his sign to Woombye. It's like the lush little hinterland sort of little...
So he's not in the Nambour place now.
Yeah. So he owns that. But anyway, he said, look, I'm going up there. It's the Gold Coast 10 years behind.
Yeah.
Why don't you do... And I rung some friends up here, and all of a sudden they said the shop was there. So we come up, had a look, and within a month we moved up here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so 5 years prior, if someone said you were still going to be living on the Sunshine Coast 14 years later, I would have laughed at them.
What's the best part about living up here, in your opinion? Like, after all these years now, what are the kind of key points for you that you're like, this was a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's diversification. Like, I have my brother, my sister, my mum.
Okay.
My wife has her mum, her brother, her sister.
Right.
So, that plus I play OzTag as well.
Yeah.
So I play with that with my brother.
Yeah, cool.
You know, so
the family's up here as well.
Yeah.
Did everyone just get up here?
My mum moved up here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then I moved up, then my sister moved up, and then my brother moved from out west up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was quite weird but good. So,
Cool.
you know, that sort of thing. Plus, there is good waves. It is really good. Like, we got a place called Watala up here. I call it Poor Man's Stratty. If you've ever surfed Stratty,
sounds alright.
it's a damn good place.
Yeah.
And it's really good on its day.
Okay.
And we've got a couple of reefs up here that work really well, but when it's on, it's on.
Yeah.
When it's not, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like Port or Foster where you can go around one corner and surf like even 2 foot fun little rip bowls or something. We don't get that.
Right.
Yeah, when it's not here, it's not here. And that's
And it's just windy and yuck,
it's windy,
basically.
yeah. So you've got to find other things to do. Yeah, I still haven't found it, but yeah.
A bit of Oztag maybe fills the gaps and stuff.
It does, mate. Yeah, but I'm in the water. I do a lot of everything.
Yeah.
I find that I body surf a lot more because when it's this big, you can still ride a little wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying that.
Really?
Yeah, I really love it.
Why do you love that? That's an interesting thing you brought up earlier, and I'm enjoying it too. Like I find it really cool and just a different approach.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. The key factor is it's a different approach. So it's being in touch with the wave, and you know if you don't put your body in the right spot, you sink.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really a touch and a feel thing, and it's a real connection to the ocean. I don't know. Mike could explain it a shitload better than me, but yeah.
I think people expect him to. I think people expect that above all of us mere mortals who want to talk about this. But
true.
With you, it is that kind of. I think you really put it well. That if you're out of the spot on the wave, you're out of the wave. You're
no
out.
matter
You're
what.
sinking. Like you're gone.
If you free fall a wave and you don't know how to guide your hand and drift your body and hold your chest up, you'll sink through it.
Exactly.
You know, so it's a lot more feely, touchy type thing. Yeah, and I mostly I surf Mooloolaba because of what work I do as well. Yeah. So and that's a closeout. It's like Kaiki.
Yeah, cool.
Or Waimea Shori, but nowhere near as big.
Yeah.
But it's pretty intense, the takeoff.
Yeah,
so,
right.
you know, when it's decent size, you're free falling down, you know. And the challenge is to make it to the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, all that
before
type
you
of
get
thing.
smashed into the sand.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you enjoyed that. You enjoyed that.
Love it.
How long would you spend just dropping into closeouts at Mooloolaba if you had your way?
I probably do it 3 days a week.
Really?
Yeah.
How long would a session be? Like an hour or?
Anywhere from an hour to sometimes 6 hours.
Just getting smashed into.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Depends on the people who I'm with.
It dawned on me when I was in Hawaii last. I went around to the west side for a bit of a cruise, which is an experience in itself. Like, you know, there's a whole other, you know, people get focused on the North Shore and what it has, and then you go to the west side and there's a whole different thing going on there. But what I noticed, which was funny, and I never fully understood it until in the same trip I interviewed Pat Caldwell, and he was talking about the experience at Sandy Beach and just kind of this idea of just pulling into a closeout and having a great time.
Yeah.
And I have never understood it. For me, it's been on a bodyboard. I've just been like, but you just pull into a closeout and then it's all over and that's it. But like, you see people in Hawaii, like young kids, older people, pulling into closeouts, and that's like the biggest joy of their lives.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting.
It's such a different experience. Like, I have I do disability care.
Yeah, cool.
So that's my job. Okay, so I have clients that I've gone from, you know, never caught a wave, and now I take them out in 6 foot closeouts at Mooloolaba, you know. So, I love seeing their face when they're dropping down and pulling in, you know, and they pull into the closeout. But what that does teach them is how to ride a barrel. So what you forget when you've been a bodyboarder for so long. You forget that basic skill of being able to pull in and hold your chest high. And that teaches you to ride deep in a barrel. You know, so that's still a skill that we forget, that we ride waves so much. We're so used to just, okay, we know where to sit, what to do, blah, blah, blah. But for these clients, they don't understand they're getting such good skill, you know, to do this.
There's also that art of, I don't know if I've probably mentioned this on the podcast before, so listeners may just be like, shut up, Josh. But like, I remember my first trip to Tahiti, or one of the first trips I did to Tahiti, I was freaking out. I was like 16, 15 years old, and I was happened to be with Bullet at a coaching thing once, and I said, oh shit, you know, I've got the call up to this trip in Tahiti, and he goes, oh wow, that's great. And I'm like, yeah, like it's a strike mission style thing with Ian Stewart and Ben Holland, Tyson was there, Matt Witter, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I mean, how can I prepare for this? And he's like, just pull into a bunch of closeouts.
Who said that to you?
Bullet.
Yeah.
He goes, just pull into closeouts and don't hit the bottom. Like, just practice falling off inside the barrel. I mean, which is funny because it's like, it's basically him saying, you're not going to be making many barrels, mate.
No, he's preparing you
exactly, for the worst.
For the what are they, the north ones or the west ones?
The west ones, yeah. So it was good advice, but like, it was interesting though, because when you are pulling into these closeouts, you really do have to learn how to not hit the bottom hard, because, you know, I've had a YMAS session that wasn't anywhere near as big as what Tim Jones and what some of you guys were doing back then. And I was just like, I am getting smashed here. Like, I could break my neck on this wave very easily. So with this work you're doing, so you're basically saying that you're getting people with zero experience in the water, and basically as part of your job, you're taking them body surfing.
Yeah, I think.
So what job's this, and how does everyone else get it? That's the other point.
Okay, so I've been doing disability care for now nearly 6 years. And mate, it's been the most humbling thing going. Yeah, these guys, mate, they just take you for who you are. Yeah, and honestly, they're eager to learn. And I always say my job description is a lifestyle facilitator. Sounds so cool.
Sounds pretty cool.
But I think I'm going to turn it into plus water therapy.
Yeah.
You know, because honestly, I see the clients and how, you know, they got Asperger's, they got all different types of things, and I see them wind down once they're in the ocean. You know, it's so good to see. You know, they're all up here, and then when they get in the ocean, it's just another. You can see what we get. You know what I mean? And you can see it work on them. Yeah. And they're just so stoked. You know, and it's just such a humbling thing to see. Yeah. But,
and they're exhausted too, I imagine, by the end of some of these
they're the
body
one pushing
surfing
me.
Right.
Yeah, they take me.
Like, they
love it, mate. Yeah. Right. Like, I get them when I've got days off. I get texts, what are you doing? Where are you going to be?
That's
you know,
epic.
like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be at Mooloolaba.
Yeah,
cool.
cool.
So it's good. Yeah.
Okay. And so, like, but I mean, and you were saying you've got pretty long days, like, but you do find you do get to include some water therapy into those days. Like, it's a very common part of your work.
It is 80% of my work.
You're kidding?
No.
That's crazy.
I do a 7-hour day today. I did 7 hours today, and I spent 3.5 in the water. Yeah.
This guy.
Still getting paid to surf.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah, look, honestly, I giggle about it and laugh about it, like I'm still getting paid, blah, 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 but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about the veterans that go and do it, how much it helps their mind.
Yeah.
And it really does.
Yeah.
And like the famous saying, you know, Billabong, only a surfer knows the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Once you're in there and you're doing that,
yeah. You're not sponsored by them anymore. You don't have to represent.
I know,
them
mate,
podcast,
but yeah,
mate.
they were a good company.
They were, right. You got
mate,
the let's go there.
Like,
that's good. I wanted to go there anyway.
Yeah.
So like you were in there at a really good period with that company, weren't you?
Mate, I was there at the best.
Yeah.
I had some great people look after me, and I would not burn that company. They had a different direction and it started drifting the wrong way. That's why I got out.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunate, but I think they were scared too.
Right.
You know, so.
Scared of what?
We were growing.
Yeah.
We were growing at a pretty high pace.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it could have worked.
Yeah.
But I still think it can work with different things. Like I suggested, like bring back Bad Billies. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
and just bring that into the bodyboarding section,
Right.
And start that up.
Did they own that as well?
Yeah, back in the day, yeah, Bad Billies.
Didn't realise the connection.
Yeah, so and just things like that. But yeah, they said thanks, but no thanks. You know, they were going a different marketing way, and of course, you know, what goes up must come down unless you do the right things. You know, So
And they've come down eventually.
yeah, they came down, but that's smart. Like, you know, Dougal Walker was a legend.
Right.
You know, honestly, he grabbed me by the arm and he goes, "Look, I can only afford to pay you this, but I'll always look after you." And he always stuck to his word. When I come to the career end, you know, they dropped me mega. I was ready to burn my clothes out the front of there. I was going to call the news and everything.
That would have been good.
But Dukes got in there and he said, no. I've said this is what we're doing. And they ripped the contract up in front of my face and said, "We've handled this so wrong." I said, "Where's Dougal?" Because all I went in there was to burn each one of them. And he goes, no, what do you want? That's their exact words. "What do you want, Eppo? We can't pay you to surf forever. What do you want?" You know, so that was a huge,
What did you
humbling
ask
experience. I didn't know at the time. I was too busy.
You're just like,
too
the
busy.
lighter and the clothes right there. Like,
That's exactly.
what do you mean what I want?
Exactly what I said. I said, "I don't know," because I was coming in to fucking rip you as an arsehole, you know? And then I said, "I have to think about it." They go, "All right."
Let me calm down and come
So I
back.
ended up agreeing to 3 days a week.
Working.
So 24 hours a week.
Yeah.
On a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... And that was, I think they signed a 3-year contract with
Okay.
me then. Yeah.
So you were in the office then working there?
Yeah, 3 days a
Okay.
week. And
That's interesting. Was that was that kind of your first real job?
Yeah.
It was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a pastry cook before that.
That's right, you were.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you were a pastry cook when you were young. You
Yeah,
did
so-
the apprenticeship and all that kind of stuff as a teenager, or you just worked in a bakery?
I worked in the donut shop. I made donuts for Donut King for 3 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I finished school, year 10, couldn't wait to get out.
Yeah.
I had 2 days,
Yeah.
went straight to work. So I didn't even get the school holidays.
Damn.
Yeah, straight into work. And then I was doing the donut shops while I was winning. I remember winning the New South Wales titles.
Yeah.
And rocking home at 4 a.m. And Pete Gleason drops me out the back of the bakery, and I rock in with my trophy, the backpack, and the board under the arm. Throw it down and go to work.
Go punching holes and
Yeah.
dough.
They go, "How'd you go?" "Yeah, I won."
I won.
Get to work.
Where's the dough? Where's my apron?
Yeah. No, it
Wow.
was
So
good.
you were there for a while doing that while you were bodyboarding.
He was a good boss, mate. He'd
Yeah.
let me go when it was time to go, and
Epic.
yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, when did it in the career development? Because you did mention a really cool thing about your dad. We were kind of joking about dads getting involved in bodyboarding when their sons start to like get interested in it. So like most people know that my father got involved in quite a big way. But with your father, you mentioned that it was off the back of the first ever comp in Port or something like that,
Yeah,
right? So what's that story?
In
for the
'87,
listener?
there was a contest ran by Paul Dawson.
Okay.
And he just ran a contest. We ended up having it at Middle Rock.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and there was a fair few of us. There was about 46 of us.
So
in the comp.
1987.
1987. I'll show you. If
Was
you
this
want
one
to
of the
look.
first comps in Australia then? Or
No,
not? What was happening before that?
There was heaps before that.
Okay.
You got to talk to Evan and Barney and
Oh, okay.
all that.
So there was
but
already
there
a bit happening.
There was since '82, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the comp started. Yeah, so and
Okay.
that's Wayne Smith and all the boys.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So yeah.
All right. There's
Yeah, so
another
I'm
podcast
sort of
episode.
7 years behind some of
Okay.
the original boys from Australia,
Okay.
like the Hume brothers and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
The Brothers Hume.
Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, Sorensen and
Yeah. Okay.
and Appleby and that were the Groms. you know?
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So the '87 was Port Macquarie, and I win the contest. Like I beat my hero was Rob Cotter.
Rob
You know?
Cotter, I remember that
Yeah,
name.
So
I remember that
he
name.
was the original guy from Port.
Okay.
And then we had a few crew above us, the Navins and
Yeah.
all them guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was my size, quite small, and but Dad goes, well, where does he go from here? And he goes, I don't know, I just ran a contest, you know. And so of course Dad's being Dad's, and Dad ran the footy back in Cara where I grew up out west,
Yeah, right.
and so he got a few parents together and started a committee, and Simon Naven was president, and that's how it all kicked off in '87.
And then
October '87.
October '87, and your father. I mean, I met your father as a grommet. You know, like that must have been like into the mid '90s, and he was still.
Dad just.
He was involved a long time.
Yeah, Dad went on, and he went on to run and help organise New South Wales.
Yeah.
And once I had my career, Dad helped everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
He was still hanging around,
For the club, he'd write everyone a resume.
All right.
So they could go down to the local surf shop and
get a sponsor.
Give him a chance to get a sponsor. He'd
cool.
write everyone.
That's so good. What, everyone in the club?
Everyone in the club, but if they wanted it, he'd write them out a little
reference.
A little, their heats, because he kept all the heats and everything.
Okay, right.
And he did this and this, and this is his
Okay, so he was verifying their results for the sponsors.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Nah.
Dad looked after everyone. Dad was everyone's dad. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Krista goes, well, you never took after him and went and did that. I was the one carrying the shit off the beach for 10 years. I wasn't going to do that. I'd already done my time. Michael, come here. Carry the tent. Oh, God damn it. 6 o'clock in the morning, everyone's rocking at 7, and I was there at 5:30 bringing the tent to the beach.
Well, I got roped into... I had similar experiences, but it was when we had the Jeff Wilcox competition at like Janie's Corner or some of the more isolated beaches around Foster, and you needed to have a crew that would camp out the night and look after the tents. So I ended up, sleeping on beaches, and but it was actually super cool, to like camp out at your local beach.
Mate, I organised everyone to go to Manly in '88, and the Port Macquarie boys could confirm this, but in '88 I organised a bus.
Yeah.
I organised to get to the contest, and so I got everyone down, meeting at the service station at 7 o'clock in the morning. We're off to Manly. We're going for I think it was the State Cups or something like that. I can't even remember what it was, but I get them all on the bus. They all handed me the money to pay the bus driver. And I get them down the road, like just getting out of port, and I go, want the good news or the bad news? And they went, good news. I went, yeah, we're going to Manly. What's the bad news? We got no accommodation. So we slept under the tents
on Manly
Beach. And then the South Australian guys felt sorry for us and let us all crash in their 2 units.
So the poor boys were just on the beach. Homeless.
And poor Nigel Little, he took his board out of we left all ours in the bus and said, can you come back in the morning at 6 and give us our boards and that?
Yeah.
He brung his. Got flogged.
No way.
Fell asleep holding it, and someone flogged it.
No way.
Yeah.
Brutal. Brutal. Good old days. So I mean, do you remember going back to these good old days? Like you won the first comp in Port. How old were you when you won that comp? Do you remember?
17.
17.
Yeah.
So how long had you been bodyboarding before then?
I moved to Port when I was 12, and so I got my first bodyboard when I was 13.
Okay, so you're straight into it in Port Macquarie,
so 3
beaches
years.
there. What am I going to do? Bodyboard.
Yeah.
Do you remember, was it a choice of your own, or was it what was handed to you?
Okay. I remember we rocked into Port maybe October or September of 93. And
83.
82.
82,
Yeah.
all right.
And Dad goes, I'll buy you that. I go, what do you want for Christmas? I go, a bodyboard.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, how about that? And it was like that $15 like cool light painted.
Yeah, sure.
And I go, if you get me that, I'll throw it in the bin.
Uh-huh.
I don't want it.
Uh-huh.
I go, I want that one with the glued on fins.
Yeah,
and
right.
that was a WTS. I've got one in the shed.
A WTS? What's that one?
It's a flexi, bendy, blue or green you could get them back in the day.
Okay.
And the fins were glued on. And obviously the first ride up the sand, you snap them out.
Okay.
But that was my first board.
Wait, is it in that shed just there?
I found a lady riding one, and I swapped her a brand new board for it.
No way.
Yeah, years later when I had the shop.
classic.
Yeah, but I've
That's
got
classic.
one the same as what
That's
I had.
cool. So you got the WTS. Was it like, so the Cool Light one was what, $15 or something?
Yeah, and this one was
How much was this?
59.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it must be like not terribly more expensive.
You can bend it in half and
Yeah,
it touches
right.
the tail. It's that good.
Epic.
But anyway, yeah, I rode that for six months. And then I saved up and brought a second-hand turbo. Pink turbo.
Nice.
Yeah, $55 I brought it for.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you know why you picked the bodyboard in the first place?
I ran into a good mate of mine, Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Goose Cosby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Goose
right.
Cosby. So
Cool.
we started hanging out together. There's actually a photo of me and him like leaning on our bendy boards, you know.
Sick.
Yeah. So
Goose was into
I
it.
actually had a female ski suit on, and I had this. The
So
arms
zipper
were-
up the front,
zipper up the
cleavage in
front,
or
and
out.
hips. You know the hips.
Yeah.
That was my first sweaty from Vinny's.
Quite a high cut on the
No,
legs.
it
or?
had legs. It's
Oh,
fun.
okay, luckily.
Yeah.
Luckily.
So yeah.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, so we started just surfing. We weren't allowed to go every day, so every like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So you're like 13-ish, 14.
Yeah, 13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah. And we just started going and going and going.
Funny.
Yeah. Then I actually sold the turbo for the same price, 55, but I was saving up for the Max 77 because everyone was getting them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in between selling that, I rode a surfboard.
Oh, so you did
Yeah.
switch over to the dark side for a little
For 3 months, and it was in winter, and I remember surfing Shelley Beach, and I must have had the wrong stance,
bit. Yeah.
and I went to pull into a barrel, and the surfboard rolled up, hit me in the shins, in the knee,
Ah.
in the chest, in the arms, and then under the chin, and I crawled to the beach, and I was like, fuck this.
Fuck fiberglass. I'm out.
Saved hard for that Max 77.
Yeah, there you go. Little funny historical thing from my side on just with Goose Cosby, because you know the name means a lot to me. Not that I ever got to meet him, but it was the first ever competition I won.
Ah.
Yeah, and I won at a port at Lighthouse Beach, and kind of the funny bit was that there was this interesting thing with the Goose Cosby comp in that they gave the biggest trophy to the winner of the grommets.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a thing, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
it was.
So I remember I won it, and it was like a huge deal for me. Like
Yeah.
first big comp,
Yeah.
and I get this massive trophy. And Mason Rose won the Open Men's, and he goes, huh, "Nice
Little-
trophy."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was a little bit like, not jealous, but he was like,
He was
"What the fuck's
jealous,
going
don't
on
you worry
here?"
about that.
So it's
I know
massive. I'm
Mason.
just like holding onto this thing, and then I'm like this.
Yeah, that was the
12-year-old.
whole idea, was to
Yeah.
stoke the groms out.
That was
so
it,
that
right?
was his mum and his grandfather's idea.
Aha.
Yeah, so they had a talk about that to
Aha.
me, and yeah,
Cool.
so that was the whole idea, was to promote the grommets coming through. Like, how stoked was that kid? You know what I mean?
He was.
Yeah, where the guys that, like a Mason Rose,
Yeah.
they
It was
won
just
it.
another
They've
comp.
got an ego.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so they won the comp. They can still talk about it.
Yeah.
But you got this, and then you go
Yeah.
home, and then the other kids go,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Yeah.
You know,
It definitely
so-
worked.
Yeah, and I love the concept. What I heard, what Hub's doing,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the boogie board and bodyboarding.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the muck around stuff. I
Yeah.
love that concept.
Yeah.
I reckon the world should adapt that concept.
Yeah, right. We
Yeah,
get it
I
all a bit
really
wrong
like
there.
that. And I was the one who grew up going, no, it's not a boogie board, it's a bodyboard, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I was that person because I was trying to be the professional. But now I'm older and I see it from a different perspective, and I help my old man always said, if you don't support the grassroots, the foundation will fall. And I believe that 100%. So you keep the clubs going, you keep everything moving, and
Yeah.
you feed the clubs. They're the foundation that will support the top. Yeah, so
We've lost our way a bit though, and I
Sorry.
think no. I mean, on that question, because it's good to look. The podcast moves wherever it wants to move, and I think like we're kind of moving towards the career discussion and the professionalization discussion, which is something I wanted to go to because as a professional rider, you know, like for me, if I cast myself back into my grommet self, you know, you and Ben Holland and Bullet, and then of course Mike was over there in Hawaii and stuff. But for Australia, you guys were the professionals. You know, like for me, it was like, these are the guys that I'm looking up to as a grommet, and then you had these kind of like, you know, your kingies and your Ben players. They were just like the teenagers in between, but you guys were the adults.
Yeah.
You know, and you may not think you were an adult at the time, maybe, but you know, you were. When did that professional moment happen for you? Like, what was that story? How did that kind of happen?
When I won the world title.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate. So
interesting.
yeah, before,
I thought it might have been earlier.
Nah, mate. I was. People were going, who won?
Yeah, right.
Outside of Australia, everyone was like, who?
Yeah.
What was his name? Appleton. Who's that guy? But honestly, like, outside of Australia, I was a nobody. I'd been to Hawaii twice, you know.
Crazy.
A couple of the boys had seen me.
Yeah.
But nah, I pretty well flew onto the scene. Once I won that, it was like, boom. And I remember Stroey, he was, he walked down the beach that day and he goes, I got me money on someone. I went, who? He goes, someone who's good in these conditions. And who's that? And he goes, you. I go, bullshit. He goes, no, this is your day. He said it to me.
Really?
Yeah, that day.
Did that make a difference for you in the moment?
I was always a skeptic, eh? You can ask Joey, mate. Yeah,
right.
that's one you should interview, actually. I was always that guy that was, I think I saved myself, so I'd always go, I don't know whether I'll get through this.
Right.
And I think that was just a protective level.
Yeah.
But I love competing.
Yeah.
I competed until the last minute.
Right.
You know, that was I enjoyed that rush of,
Yeah.
you know, I
I
can
get it.
still win this at the last 10 seconds.
Well, they're the best victories too.
Oh, mate. Well, the semi-final of the Pipe. Like,
Right.
I was down and out. Mike and Ben were winning that heat
Yeah.
by a mile. It was me, Mike, Ben, and Lance and Ron Quillio.
Yeah, right.
And I just remember, I was like, it's down and out, but I knew I had the double roll.
Yeah.
And I just knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
I heard it, and I was like, and I attempted it on the left, and I hit it wrong, and I sort of spun and fell off.
Right.
And I knew it wasn't going to. I was like, oh, damn it. And then it came to the last 30 seconds.
Really?
And the right-hander came, and I just hit that backdoor section and made it, yeah.
What happened in the final? Because we did try to get this story down in Kiama like last year, but it didn't quite come out because of I'm going to blame the Cronulla boys for drinking too much and making too much noise.
I think it was just the old crew getting together. Been a few years since we'd all got together.
The reunion that took place. But so what happened in the final? How did that play out?
So I was sitting on the beach and I was trained by Jim Brabant.
Yeah?
Marcus Brabant was a professional surfer in the day who I went to school with. And I used to get all his gear, his second-hand gear, you know. But his dad trained us, and then he kept training me. And
was he filming as well?
He was filming. He did all the underground tapes.
Exactly.
So all that footage of me in the underground tapes, that's Jim Brabant and Eppo's Freak Show. 90%, or not 90, but 60% of it's Jimbo, you know. So... yeah, he's one of my best mates. I went to his 80th the other day.
That's great. I've met him once many years ago.
Yeah,
nice guy.
But anyway, he told me, he goes, Eppo, I just want to say one thing. This was maybe a year or two earlier. He goes, you might only get one chance at it. So if you only get one chance, it's all or nothing. You've got to go into that heat all or nothing. And I remember sitting on the beach, I'm listening to Eye of the Tiger. All or nothing, you know.
Right.
Got to be all or nothing. And I get a tap on the shoulder like this, and it's Akka Lyman's mum. And I'm like, she goes, Eppo, you're supposed to be out there. And I look, and they're all paddling out. And I'm like, oh shit.
It's all or nothing. It's more like nothing right now.
Threw me ready on, threw me shirt on, and ran down, threw me flippers on. As I'm on the sand, the hooter goes.
Get out.
Yeah, and I'm paddling out. And it was the hooter for the consolation final. And I remember Ben did a spin, and he's just riding past me. He goes, kick his fucking ass. That's what he said to me.
Because who else? Mike was in the final, right? Kick his fucking ass. Ooh.
Yeah. And I was like, I was so like just trying to get out there. Mike told me years later that he thought it was a tactic of mine.
Oh, right.
Yeah, apparently it threw him.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't, and by the time I got out there, they'd sat out too far, so I'd turn and got the first wave.
Oh, they were pushing each other too deep.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
How big was it?
it was only small. It was like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but they managed to take themselves out of the zone.
yeah, well, it was.
It was like a paddle battle from
Yeah,
inside.
so they were pushing, and GT and Mike, you know what they're like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and poor Ak was just like, what's going on?
So Akka was in the final as well.
Yeah.
And was he prone or drop knee mostly in those conditions? Would
Both.
He have been on, he would have been on both, right?
I think he mainly proned in the
Interesting.
final. Don't quote me on that.
No, I'll
'cause
have
I was
to
too
have a
busy
bit
in
of
my own
research,
head
yeah.
doing that. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I got the first 2 waves.
And
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, I got the first 2 waves, and then it started. The comp started.
Yeah.
You know? And then I was out in front a bit, and then GT started creeping in.
Yeah.
You know, he was doing combos right to the beach.
Right.
But then the set of the day come through, and me and Akka are there, and I go, which way are you going? He goes, I'll go left and you go right. And I thank Akka to this day, because that was me nearly 9. I think I got 9s for the wave.
What'd you do on it?
I did a big roll and a reverse float.
Oh,
Yeah.
reverse float on the end section.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of ballsy.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah,
like
so...
scary at backdoor.
Oh, it wasn't that big.
Okay, but even on small, like you're onto some shallow reef.
Yeah, it was
anyway.
shallow. But yeah, but anyway, that was the best wave. And it was just a
Okay.
real good shape. It was
Yeah.
a barrel.
It held
come
its
out
form the whole
yeah,
way.
So so
Interesting.
if it wasn't for Akka being a nice guy like he is,
That sounds really nice for the time.
it was awesome, mate.
Like, that's like almost too nice for that period
Yeah.
of competition. Like,
Yeah. Well,
there was a
both-
lot of like,
Well, both me and him were so stoked to
Yeah,
just
you're
be
in the
there.
final, yeah.
Like GT, that was his third.
exactly.
You know, Mike's won 6 in a row at this stage.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. So
I remember
there's two
sitting.
other guys
I remember
there.
sitting in year 10 and he's won 3 in a row, and I'm sitting there talking to Goose
Yeah.
in English and going, "Imagine being the guy that beats him after 3."
Yeah,
You
right.
know, and he'd won
That's
6 in a
cool.
row. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So it's pretty.
So you get this. So was one of your early waves part of your score? Was it best two waves?
First 2. They were my.
So best 3 were the
Best 3.
best
were
3 were
waves.
counted. So
Yeah,
your
on
first
that
2
night. Yep.
were like in the bank
Yep.
from the start because everyone
Yeah.
had pushed themselves too
Yeah.
deep. And
They
Mike
had-
thought that was a tactic. So then, was there live scoring back then or not? Did you get reports from the shore like,
Jeez, I can't
"Hey,
remember.
Eppo's coming first," or
I don't.
there was none of
I
that?
don't think so, because we had to wait and see who won.
Okay, so yeah,
so
okay,
no one
so it was
knew,
silent.
No one knew who
But
won.
they knew you had waves. They knew that you were.
and I didn't think, but Barney was my caddy through the whole comp,
Uh-huh.
but they wouldn't let any caddies out in the final. No, it was
Interesting.
too small. See, like
Uh-huh.
so they were allowed to be on the beach, but
If
not-
you needed the board,
yeah,
switch
yeah,
over.
yeah. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I remember coming in. He goes, "Fuck, Epps, I think you got it."
Wow.
I go, "Don't do this to me,
Yeah,
Barnes. Don't
this is
do
a
it
world
to."
title.
He goes, "Yeah, it's close. It's close."
What was the final result?
I beat GT by half a point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. Stuart got third.
And Arca was just chilled at 4th place, like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty good, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
he
having
was
a good
happy.
time.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So from that moment, that was the professional career.
Yeah, mate, my life changed. Honestly, I was a kid from the country, and
Yeah.
you know, I tried to get a manager. I had a nightmare. Like
Right.
Jono, I rung him up. I rung Dad when I won. I went
Yeah.
acroth the road to the phone booth. You know,
I've made a call from that
few,
phone booth
yeah,
too. Yeah.
back in the day when there was no mobiles.
Yeah, yeah.
And I rung reverse charges.
Done that too.
Yeah. And I said, have a guess who won? And he goes, Stuart. And I go, nah. He goes, Ben. Nah. He goes, I don't know who. I go, I did. He goes, no. I go, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It must be weird, like, sorry, on that question, because now with live streaming and, you know, it's so now, and people actually get to live the moment a lot with you. So, like, was that kind of, like, with your dad playing such a big role in your bodyboarding life, I mean, he might have felt like he missed out on something a bit there, right? Like to actually feel it and be in it. Like I know my parents get to watch the live stream, so when I do well, I get text messages. You know, I come in from my heat and I've got all this feedback, like, oh mate, that was sick. You know, blah blah blah. You know, I get a lot of stuff in the moment. Yeah. But back then there was just none of that. You're just alone on the North Shore, and you just became a world champion.
Yeah.
I
had Krista with me.
Yeah, okay, so good. You had one, but you know what I mean. Your fan club is only who could have been there at the time.
That's what made us so close.
Yeah,
you know, the Aussies. We had the biggest party ever that night.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was shut.
Is that good for the podcast?
Shut down at 10:30, mate.
Right.
Mate, you couldn't walk through our carpet. It was like beers were just getting shaken, tipped.
It must have been
food
crazy.
Against wall. Yeah. Of course, Nugget was there. Of course, that was going to happen.
The floors. We'll give that to Nugget.
The cops come and they go, "Whose party?" I went, "Oh, look, it's mine." And he goes, "All right. We'll be back in half an hour. If this ain't cleaned up, we're taking you away."
Oh.
I went, "Why?" He goes, "Well, you're the party if we take you away." I go, "Mate, you don't know Aussies." He goes, "See you in half an hour."
Wow. Okay, that was it.
Yeah. So, no, it was good. Yeah.
But the world-changing bit. So, it's like... are you saying that before... Because... For maybe the uninitiated or the people who don't really understand the situation, at the time you would have had sponsors. I'm assuming you had some sponsors, right? You had Rio Piper probably back then.
I had Rio Piper and I was getting $75 a week.
Crazy.
And he kept me that 8 months.
After?
On the contract, yeah. Because I wouldn't sign with him.
You wouldn't renew?
No, he wanted to pay me 20 grand. I said no.
Right.
And he wouldn't let me out of me $2,000 contract for the year.
And so he tried to lock you in at 20.
Manta's going, I'll give you 40, I'll give you 40 plus royalties plus this.
Yeah.
I'm going, come on, match it.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't.
Okay. So you were getting offers immediately.
I was living on the check. Me and Krista were living on the check.
From Pipe?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was the check back then?
$6,000 US.
Wow.
$8,000 Australian.
You realise that? Yeah, but you realise that I think like a world tour comp now, it's about $5,000 US.
Yeah, well, don't worry. But poor Bullet, when he won the biggest year ever, it was the cheapest one ever. I think it was $2,000.
You're kidding?
No,
but who cares? You win
I know. But still, like, back then I was so shattered.
Might have stung a little bit.
The best comp.
It was fucked up back then, right?
One of the best comps, yeah. But anyway.
His sideburns were amazing during that final tour. That's all I remember that.
Well, back then he had no sponsors.
Yeah.
That's right. Dropped him. He won the Aussie tour and he just... It was one of his best years ever.
Yeah.
Mate, he was killing it. I love that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah. Absolute legend. But so, coming back to you, this is your podcast. You like to deflect other people too much. You get these offers and you're locked into a contract. And before that, you're saying you're on $75 a week. Did you even have a board model before Pipe? No, none of that.
Did I?
Did you have an Eppo with Rio? You must have had one.
I must have. No, I think he started it in that 8 months. That's why he held me in it.
He milked you.
Yeah, he milked
you good. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you jumped to Manta when those 8 months are up, you're like, sorry mate, you had your chance.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. I think I got to a point where I think he might have offered and I went, see you later. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
You didn't want to speak bad of anyone in the podcast. No. I'm not going to make you go there.
Good.
Well, I'll very happily speak about Manta because that was, one of my first sponsors, and, I even had the chance to kind of work in there with Terry Fleming and all that, one of the nicest guys in bodyboarding history. Definitely say that for him. But you're saying, I just want to get this hammered through, like $75 a week. Mm-hmm. You get held into the contract because you're in a tricky situation, but then finally when you're released, it must have been a game changer.
So what happened is,
for life,
Krista's step-grandmother tried to manage me. I went down and seen Warnie's, Warnie's manager in Sydney.
being Shane Warne.
Shane Warne, all this. And they wanted 28%.
28%?
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, I got nothing,
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, it becoming a nightmare. And
Yeah.
the step-grandmother said, oh, these are all hopeless. I'll manage you. You know, and she was going to do tie-dye T-shirts. And I'm like, this is going nowhere. This is what I mean about growing up. I'm like, God, what am I going to do?
It was a problem the success was becoming a problem.
Oh, it was huge, mate.
Yeah,
I was
right.
earning nothing, and I was world champ. I'm still trying to do promotions, but I'm not doing too many because I'm stuck in a contract that's not working.
Yeah, right.
And anyway, I went and seen Mike Perry. So,
Okay.
Surf Alert.
Yeah.
He had Surf Alert.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
2 years prior, I'm at Kevin Barr, I think his name was. He was a rep.
Okay.
And he just opened his business in Queensland. We went to the opening, and I met Mike Perry.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was the first editor of Riptide.
That's where I'm remembering the name now, because I'm like,
So,
why do I know this name so well? But I do remember the Surf Alert as well.
Yeah. So anyway, I met him. He wasn't doing that, but he was giving advice, professional advice.
Okay.
And I said, mate, would you help me out? And he goes, look, to tell the honest truth, kid, what you've told me, you're a nobody. So he goes, but if you ever win a world title or become somebody, come and see me. You know? So I remembered that conversation.
Yeah.
So I ring him up. He goes, oh, no, mate, I'm doing Surf Alert on this and that. I go, mate, can I get some advice? I'm stuck. I'm world champ. I'm 4 or 5, I think it was 4 months into it at this stage.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I just don't know what to do. Yeah, come up and get some advice.
Okay.
So I packed my bags and off to Queensland.
Right.
And so I rock up on the Monday, and I go, oh, mate, like, can you help me? He goes, no. All right, let's go surfing. So we went surfing, stayed. No one stays at Mike's place.
Right. Okay.
You know
so you got to sleep over. Okay. So you got to sleep over. That's a big deal.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So this is him though, like letting you in.
Let me in and trying to
cool.
help me, and they were doing Anyway, Tuesday, wake up. Can you help? Oh, you should do this. Can you manage? Nah, mate. No. All right, let's go surfing. Off we go surfing. Wednesday, same thing. Thursday morning. Because you're not fucking leaving, are you? I'm going world champ and I earn $75 a week. He goes, all right, 10%, and I'm only doing the negotiations. I went,
Done.
next year I made $156,000.
Paid him 15 grand.
And mate, it's been
That's how you do it.
It's been
All
a
right.
friendship ever since.
That's cool.
That was our number one thing, that we don't lose our friendship out of
Yeah,
it
right.
as it grew. That
Cool.
was the key factor.
So he just did the negotiations though. Like he just made sure that the contracts were right. He did that bit.
a lot more than that.
Oh, okay.
mate,
So he did do a lot more. Okay.
Yeah, and he was the one who got the old El Paso.
Yeah. Cool. Great. We're getting to Old El Paso. This is a good friend of mine said, you know, I did a shout out on Instagram to ask for questions, and this buddy of mine I had a chat to. I was telling Eppo before, but that basically was all about like, how did you get the Old El Paso gig? And it seems like it's a Mike Perry thing, right?
Yeah, so it actually come down. Here's an interesting, people don't know.
Yeah.
It actually came down to either me or Bullet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so one of the guys who was in, one of the 4 guys that was doing the marketing for Old El Paso, because they had the big sailing boat back then, a big Old El Paso sailing boat. If you Google Old El Paso in the 90s,
Right.
you'll see this big thing.
So interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, their kids were into bodyboarding, and they go, who's the bodyboarder?
Classic, yeah.
Eppo
Sure.
or Bullet. So
That's
it
it.
could have gone either way.
Really?
Yeah, so that, and then the kids said Eppo. And
The
that's-
kids said Eppo.
Yeah, and that's
That's
how
it?
I got it.
Wow.
And then they rang Mike. Yeah. And then
And
we
that was
went
it.
down and had a meeting. And so the first contract was for 10 grand for, I think we signed for 6 days a year.
What does that even mean?
Oh, that means I had to go to...
Oh, to do photo shoots or
Yeah.
whatever they wanted for 6 days.
10 grand for 6 days.
Epic.
That's all they wanted.
That's pretty good.
The next year we
6
all got in and we, dressed up, went in there. They go, all right, we want to continue this on, but we want to go and we want you to do a couple of shop interviews, like to stay in the shops, hand out balloons and do a bit of thing, and then we want to do Old El Paso coaching clinics.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we did a few of them, like 3 of them.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and that's where the old El Paso and the thing came on the box.
Yeah.
And so 25 boards were given out for free, you know, over this period of time. And so we rocked in and we go, we want 20 grand. They went, sweet. We went, fuck! We could have got 80 or something, mate.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. Wow. Yeah. Was it a big difference going from your bodyboard industry negotiation to a corporate negotiation? Obviously, it was, right?
No clue. Idea. We were little ants in a big... Yeah. We're definitely little fish in a big pond. Yeah. It was definitely a different world. I could have pulled 150 grand contract, no worries, I reckon, out of something like that.
If you had of...
Yeah, you just didn't know the industry. We were in a big industry that we didn't really know enough about.
Yeah, and like food and beverage.
Yes.
Like everyday things that like are multi-million-dollar deals. And
But the truth, like, it was just such an interesting time.
Yeah.
You know? And we loved it. Like, that was the first time Mike had left the Gold Coast, I think, Mike Perry, for the negotiations. Like, you know, he I think he caught a train down because he doesn't like flying.
The XPT. He got on the XPT down to Sydney.
He did.
That's classic.
Yeah.
Wow. Was that the only step you took? Well, obviously the iconic image of you doing the air on top of the corn chip. You know, that was when everyone was like, holy shit, this bodyboarder is sponsored by Old El Paso. I think the only other person that really achieved something similar was Tyson Williams with the Milo.
Yeah.
Like, and that was a big deal. I remember seeing a bodyboarder on TV.
I think he got it before I got the...
Yeah, I think it might have even been... It was super early.
Yeah.
But, like, was that your only step into the corporate world with bodyboarding?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there was nearly a time where right at the end of my career, we nearly secured a deal with Piping Hot. Yeah, in the... I think it was Target when Piping Hot was big.
Yeah.
But it would have been a good end of the career.
Yeah.
I think we were going for 130 grand, and we were that close. We missed the window of the boards getting made for the next year.
Piping Hot boards.
Piping Hot boards. We're going to have a how-to on it.
The whole
I was going to have like 6 models in there, and yeah, it was that close.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah.
What was the retirement impulse? Like, how did that come about? How old were you when you kind of retired?
I retired pretty early.
Yeah. I feel like that.
I had a few things. I never wanted to go out where people were going, you know, like...
What's he still doing here?
Yeah, why is he here? You know, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
I didn't want that. And I think that was just... I don't know, something probably imprinted in me when I was a kid. I don't know what it was, but yeah. I always wanted to do it the right way, go out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't want to... I told myself when I got knocked out of the top 10.
Oh, that was your thing.
Yeah.
When I'm out of the top 10, I'm out.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really brutal on yourself.
Yeah, but, I had a
Maybe
wife.
I'm saying that because I'm currently 17.
Had a wife and 2 kids too.
I felt like that might have been more it.
So
Okay. So
it did come down towards the end of it. We were fighting towards the end of my career, and it was sort of a balance, you know, another world title, a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah, sure.
It got to a point where, you know, it's a selfish thing what you do, you know. When you're bodyboarding, you have to put yourself first, you know. And, yeah, I had responsibilities, I think. God, at 28, how old were they? They were 7 and 8, you know, so...
Right.
Oh, no, they were, yeah, maybe 5 and 6. Yeah.
Okay, so you had kids quite young.
Yeah. Miko, Noah, and Steph were
the
parents on tour.
The parents on tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so like the real world came in there. But it wasn't like you weren't... Like, I mean, obviously bodyboarding was providing...
Yes,
with those numbers you're talking about, that's serious.
It was
serious cash.
It was
back
coming
then.
to the end, but I could have milked it a lot longer. I could have milked it on a comfortable bit.
Yeah.
But like I said, I struggled with it all once I finished. I left the last year, and in 2000 we went around Australia.
Yep.
So I sold it to Riptide. I sold it to Billabong and Manta.
Yeah.
So I organised a monthly. 2 pages in Riptide.
Okay.
And Billabong and Manta were happy with that, so and then I was going to do promotions all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that, and
Yeah.
we went for 9.5 months around Australia because I left Australia to last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't travel a lot in Australia, except
That's
for the
interesting.
East Coast
Yeah.
and the promotional areas.
Yeah.
So then I went south.
Did the full thing.
Yeah, so, which was awesome.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah.
That was a cool thing. Was that hard to sell at the time? Because I'm imagining that part of what you were selling as a professional rider before then was the competitive element of bodyboarding, because that's how everyone was measured, right?
Yeah.
So how did they, like Billabong and Manta were like, oh, that's not a bad idea, we can get in the magazines. And
Well, at that particular point, it started to get to, I think I'd helped, don't know whether it was King, one of them, one of the young kids.
One of those little fuckers.
I helped come along, and Andre Botha was winning too. He was international. He was the only bodyboarder that got international on Billabong.
Billabong, yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think at that stage there was the good kids were coming through. I sold it. Krista helped me. She was always the brains behind it.
Right.
Yeah, so she helped me sell it the right way.
Right.
And they said, yeah, well, this is
Cool.
This is what I'm doing. I'm promoting it all the way around. So
Cool.
yeah.
So that was your final hurrah as a professional bodyboarder. It was like a nice round Australia trip with the family,
All paid
doing
for.
promo stuff paid for.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a quite a nice. Do you remember treating it like a last hurrah? Was that your
Yeah, I did.
kind of your farewell tour
I
in
did.
a sense?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but I had no idea what I was doing.
No,
after it.
no, but like it's a nice way to go.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like a nice way to go.
yeah.
Do you miss? Obviously, I understand probably more so than ever that you're a very competitive guy. Was that hard to fill the space or the void of not competing for something after that? Like, how did you?
It was hard to find me as a person because that's all I'd ever known from the age of 13 right through. Even though I worked in the pastry cooking and that, I was a bodybuilder. Like, that's all I ever did, and I did it for fun, and fun took me to everywhere in life. So, of course, when that stops, you go, what else makes me fun? No, I had nothing. I had nothing, you know? So, yeah, I struggled. I went into deep depression.
Yeah.
And what I tried to do was I go, right, well, if I don't surf, then I won't be any good. And then I can't go back to it. Like, that's how I tried to do it.
So you
I tried to
cut
myself.
it out completely.
Yeah, I'd get up at 11 o'clock every morning. You know, I'd crawl out of bed. I wouldn't go for my bodyboard, but I didn't know what to go for. Like, it was really hard. Mentally struggled. I give Krista so much credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that lasted for a few months, and then we were good friends with Vince Lauder. That's the guy who managed the surfing.
Okay.
And he
Billabong?
managed me. Yeah, he managed me back in the day. And he just finished, and he was, you know, go in and talk to Billabong. You know, where are you going? And that's when the contract fell apart. That's when I got offered a job.
Yeah, you got your 3 days a week.
Yeah. So
All right, so that stabilised everything out. And from that point, though, when did Eppo's bodyboard shop kind of come into the scheme?
so this was Krista.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's the computer guru.
Yeah, right.
You know, so she, we were having drinks with Vince Lauder and his wife, and Vince's wife, Kath, was really artistic, and Krista looked up to her a lot. But they just started World Surfers.
Okay.
Yeah, and we said, oh, well, we had a name, bodyboardshop.com, and it was, they went, no one's got that. Grab it now, you know. Really?
This is early internet.
Yeah, this is
isn't
way.
it?
This is 99, mate.
That's crazy.
You know, and this is before Jay and Vicky.
Yeah.
You know, so we had this name for I don't know how long. I don't know, but we had it. And so I was in Billabong, and then probably was in there for about 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And Chris had started bodyboard
Built
shop
up bodyboard shop.
and
Yeah.
we started to build it with a couple of internet people.
Yeah.
We were building things before MyOb and that were
Yeah,
all
I'm
linked.
sure. I'm sure.
We
Must have been
spent
just the Wild
thousands
West.
of dollars on this stuff.
Yeah.
Where Maya would read the internet and be able to pick this thing off. Like, we had to pay for all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So building it from scratch.
yeah, so Krista did all that with tech people. And
How long did that last for? How long did the bodyboard shop go for?
well, I signed that 3-year contract, and I think I was only in a year and a half, and it was shit was hitting the fan, so I'd be sneaking home and helping do bodyboard
Yeah,
shop
right.
under the house. It started growing, so her sister and her were working, and
Yeah.
I was getting Crawley to wear model shirts during
Yeah,
the day,
right.
and like that was the No Friends gear and all the
Yeah.
Unite and all that. So
Cool.
yeah, so they were taking photos, and Krista and Kate would be cutting the shirts out individually and putting them up, and
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So
How did it feel to switch over from the, like, there's a bit of a transition there between the two, but like suddenly you're now in the industry, like you're part of the industry of bodyboarding from another perspective. Did it feel right?
I fell into it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was working for Billabong, and this was growing, and it was growing and growing, and I was sort of like, oh, and then Billabong were like, Eppo, we want to promote you. I remember this coming after a year and a half. Eppo, we want to promote you. I went, oh, sweet. Yeah, we want to flick you another $5,000 to help do the juniors and that. I go, cool. Yeah. And he goes, how many days a week do you work? I went, 3. He goes, oh, well, we want you to do 5. I went, oh, well, you better up that figure.
Yeah, exactly.
And he goes, what? I go, I'm not working an extra 2 days for $5,000.
No,
and he
a
goes,
year.
And he goes, people in here don't make anything that you make in here. I go, unlucky for them.
So the Billabong relationship finishes around here.
This is where it went. It started going like this. He goes, I want to see the contract. And so I went back in. And I'm like, shit, I hope I've done this. And anyway, I pulled the contract, and here it is, scribbled out 32 hours a week to 24, both initialed on each contract.
Right.
And I went,
Well, there you go.
he goes, oh, well, you know. And I said, mate, it's
It is what it
contract.
is. Yeah.
It's another year and a half to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, they worked me until I had to quit. I think
Yeah.
I lasted another 5 months in there.
Okay, so
yeah,
they pushed you.
just pushed me. I was making T-shirts and trying to help do T-shirts, help run, help Bushy do the events. And
Right,
yeah,
so you're getting milked.
Yeah, so I think Margot ended up taking my job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Oh, mate.
You're happy to probably
we'd
sail out
moved
of there.
out of under the house to a factory. Yeah, and then we were just going to sell out of the factory. But everyone kept knocking on the door. And then we're like, shit, what do we do?
Yeah.
So we lasted 3 or 4 months in there, and went, and then we ended up in the old Burley Theatre Arcade.
Crazy. Crazy. I mean, it's been a big journey in bodyboarding for you. Like, when, with the bodyboard shop, when did it finish up? When was that moment, and why did that happen?
Okay, so we had the one shop down at Burley. Then we went back around Australia in 2005, or four going into 5, I think we went. That's when we went with Mike and that.
Yeah.
And because Apsy was running our shop, Chris
Yeah.
Apps from
I
Port.
remember that. Yeah.
And yeah, so we sort of got back and then went to the sunny coast. We opened up here. We lasted here about 8 years.
Right. As the bodyboard shop kind
No,
of
it mustn't have
retail.
been that. It must have been that. I think, yeah, 2011.
Yeah. Right.
So 4.
Yeah, 6 years maybe.
Yeah, 6 years.
Cool.
So, and I went belly up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I got to a point where Apsy had left me in Burley, and then I was getting managers in, and they weren't even rocking up.
Oh.
I get phone calls.
Like shop shut.
"Hey, I'm standing outside the shop and it's shut, and I'm trying to run the one up here, and I have to go. All right, Chrissy, go. I'm driving. I'd stay at Barney's house and try and get it all happening, and going, what the fuck, you know?
What's going on?
Yeah, so I went through about 4 managers.
Ouch.
Yeah, and then a friend of mine helped me out, Alan McFarlane, and he sort of ran it until I sold it to, terrible. I can't. Mick. I can't even think of his name now. But anyway, his son was a bodyboarder really nice guy too. Smoked like a chimney, but yeah, nice guy. Yeah, he ended up...
But you sold the Burley one off?
I sold the Burley one off, and it kept me afloat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that would have been in... I think I might have sold that in 08.
Okay.
Yeah, and that helped me stay and keep going. And then it got to a point where Krista sort of... She wanted to do other things, and I wasn't real technical, so I couldn't even put stuff online.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so and I had a manager that could do it, Lee Bendel, and he was doing that. But then the financial crisis crept in, and I kept redrawing,
right.
and it got to 130 grand, and I said, I can't do this. No. And I owed suppliers like 40 grand, I think, and then and the worst thing is, in December I'd booked my 40th birthday to go to Sumatra with the Port Macquarie crew.
Right.
And I shut in, must have been Easter or somewhere, and I was going to Sumatra, and I just shut the whole shop, and it looked like I took the money and ran.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it was so not that, but it looked really bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, once I gave all the gear back, and I owed 22 grand. So once I got back from Sumatra, that's when the real experience started to kick in. Yeah, so I was down and out, and I was just trying to get any work possible.
Right.
Yeah, so I ended up going up to Calliope, which is out the back of Gladstone. I was landing dongers, like mine camps, building mine camps.
What the fuck's a donger?
Yeah, so where 3 or 4 people sleep in them in the
right.
mines.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was doing that. I was doing civil plumbing in Cairns. I remember that was my breaking point right there. I remember being in it. It was stinking hot. It was 6:30 in the morning. I'm down a drain, and it's called mortaring. So you're putting pipes together, the underground pipes, and you're cementing them all together with your hands, And I'm in knee-deep water. I'm dripping in sweat, looking out of this little manhole about 6 foot up. Got to watch out because crocs are in there, in the pipe. So you got to listen for them. And I'm in that much deep water. I'm like, what the fuck have I done to deserve this?
That's crazy.
But that was the turning point. That was so humble. From that point on, I went, remember this moment. You're not coming back.
Yeah,
and I grew from that point, So I still did a lot more. I was doing, my mate saved my ass. I was still fixing and putting pools in Brizzy. Troy Grinham, one of my mates from Port.
Okay.
He really saved me back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, he'd give me work when he really didn't have to give me work, just to keep me afloat.
Right.
I was that guy that, where you go to Woolworths for $10.
Yeah, right.
And I'd buy a carrot and some noodles and cook something up for the 4 of us.
Crazy.
Just to hang on to that front door. But also paid my 22 grand off. It took me 2 years.
Yeah.
But I paid every supplier off.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That must have been a good moment off the back of that croc-infested drain pipe incident. It's a pretty low point.
That was very humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a low point.
Yeah.
But not depression low. I've had depression low. That was just a point of going, you've hit bottom, bounce. Let's bounce.
This is the jumping spot.
So,
cool.
And I felt like not since then, Chris and I had a bit of a fallout about 6 years ago, and she booted me out because I had depression. Yeah, so I was pretty mopey, and I was pretty down and out. And
then get your shit together.
I always knew what I didn't want to do, but I never knew what I wanted to do. So I was stuck in that mindset of not knowing what to do, but I always had an excuse for everything else that I didn't want to do. And she left me. So she was like, done.
Check.
Yeah, check. Gone. The coldness on her face, And I remember, it was only for a couple of days, But I had to fight. I rang her up and I go, I just need to talk to you. She goes, alright, she was done. Yeah. And I said, look, I said, I'm going to change. I know you've heard it all before. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to change. So I'd really like you to come along with me, you know, and give it another shot, you know, because I think it's going to be worth it. Yeah, so she gave me another shot.
And did that take you into this disability support game? Is that where that kind of took you there?
I still went on and I was still doing a few things, but I sat on the beach like I went and so I worked on job sites here in town, on building sites, and I was just a shit kicker digging holes and doing all that. And there's a photo on my Instagram if anyone ever wants to look. Looks like I'm sitting on a dunny with a hard hat on.
Okay.
But it says I'm working in a building site, and I'm actually in a lift, but it's protected.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on a white bucket.
Right.
And I go, mate, take a photo right now, please. Take a photo. He goes, what's going on? I go, here, just take a photo. And he took the photo and he goes, what? He goes, I just got voted second best bodyboarder of all time in Riptide. So I wrote, this is what you get for second.
Well, okay. We just done a really big circle around on but this is kind of where my thinking was going as you were talking about this. Like, here's this guy who's gone from, you know, from zero pipe before the world title, essentially zero to like hero. Because like from my perspective at the time, it's just like, boom, here's Eppo. He's doing airs bigger than anyone else. He's inventing maneuvers. He's taking the sport from a certain kind of, God, it's so interesting to look at the influence you've had on bodyboarding. It's kind of like a complete paradigm shift. And the sport has not recovered from your influence, you know, in a very positive way. Like, it's like, before you and what you did, there was a very standardized approach, and it was very drilled into everyone that, you know, and Mike kind of led that standardized, style-driven, you know, there was this kind of power, and it was the crossing the legs and doing it this way. There was a way before Eppo, and there was whatever the fuck you felt like after Eppo. You know, like in many ways, you really opened up the imaginations of people.
I appreciate that, but it was going to happen no matter what.
Yes, you're a humble guy, of course. You're going to say that.
The boards were changing. Everyone
so you think it was a board? I think
it was timing. I think it was a very good timing. Like, there was a Scott Mason from Coffs Harbour.
Yeah, he's doing the spin rolls.
So no, he was actually doing the ARS.
Was he?
Well, that's Dion Myers. But what happened is I got it on film just before him. That's what I mean. So it was going to happen. Mike Stewart, I did the double roll. Mike Stewart goes, I've seen a video of someone do that overseas.
Okay.
Of course. Like,
cool.
I'm sure someone... But how I started the double roll was Warwick Appleton from Coffs Harbour.
Right.
He was out the well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dion.
You didn't say where it was.
Shark infested.
Yeah, sure. Don't want to go there.
Yeah, but anyway, he did a roll... but landed and rolled, and he called it a double roll. And that's the thing that clicked to me.
Okay.
And I remember Arcs and Ben Severson, 1986, he came out for a promo.
Yeah.
I said, have you ever done a double roll where you do two rolls in the air? He goes, looked at me like, you're an idiot, kid. You know, no one can do that.
Right.
But between that and that,
yeah,
made me go, oh, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, but
I was just a thinker.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
So I can't read or write properly.
Okay.
The first time I ever went to Bali, I couldn't even read surname. Like when you filled out the form, like I was shitting myself going, I'm never getting in.
Right.
Like I had to hit people. I said, where do I sign? How many, this? You know, what occupation? Oh, what's occupation? Like I didn't know. Yeah, so I believe that's helped me a lot because I watch and I learn. I listen and I learn. So, yeah, I think that sort of helps.
Is it listening and learning or watching and learning? Or is it the visual and the audio is your way?
Visual's good. I think I listen a lot too. Mike Perry said that. He goes, mate, you've got a skill that other people don't have. You listen. Yeah, and I go, well,
but you also must have an imagination.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't, like you can just listen and listen and listen and
Yeah.
listen. But if you're not doing anything with those inputs and like creating something new off the back of it, well then it's just listening.
Yeah. I'm always dreaming.
Yeah.
I'm still dreaming of the triple roll. I'm still
Yeah,
dreaming of the
yeah.
double roll, double spin.
Yeah.
I think of all these things. It's
Right.
always there. I'm always dreaming of shapes and designs in
Yeah.
boards. Like I fall asleep and I wake up and I'm like, what happens if the board did this and then a little fin out here? And like,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
always thinking. I'm always
Cool.
thinking. I see the surfers with them little things on the back. Why don't we try them? You know,
Yeah.
like I'm always constantly. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it with a passion. I love how Mez sends me his designs.
Yeah.
Goes, try this one, Epps, you know. It's so cool.
Cool.
To feel like, you know, I'm still a part of that, you know.
Do you,
Yeah.
and you do still feel a part of it?
Oh, I definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't, when I lost the shop,
Right.
I had to go find myself.
Yeah.
And I'm Eppo now.
Yeah.
Before I used to separate myself from Eppo,
Yeah.
you know, so... Yeah, look, I'm proud of where I've been and what I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's, yeah, and I'm back to the grassroots and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm loving teaching, you know, people who never would get in the ocean,
Yeah.
you know, to get in the ocean and actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I get really stoked that they've gone down to Cheesies or something
Yeah.
and gone for a surf and they're telling me about it, you know, it's cool. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, it's a big circle though to come around to that point, because obviously bodyboarding and being in the ocean in the beginning was about that same feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Does the professionalization of it? Obviously, you got a good piece of that professional moment though when it all kind of came in. You must have been up there. You must have been way up there as one of the higher paid riders for a while there. You must have been.
I was very lucky.
Yeah, you were in that real golden spot.
Yeah. I think I created the golden spot for a few. Like
Yeah.
I think Hardy and the boys capitalised off me. Yeah, I think I set the boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Ross Hawke, Dave Appleby,
Yeah.
they were the ones who helped me out with contracts.
Right.
And tried to teach me about contracts and all that. Like, yeah, it was just, I got so much help. And that's why I send people like little, you know, private, hey, you know, welcome to the team. Like
Yeah, cool.
Pierre or someone,
Cool.
you know, when he won his first world title.
Cool.
And like, you know, like his movie, I felt a part of that, you know.
Yeah.
That movie was awesome. So I keep telling Krista how good it was, you know. It was about everybody's life, not just Pierre's life. It's everyone has a piece of that life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different styles of that life.
Well, there's a lot of experiences. I think what's interesting for me in this kind of discussion, which is a bloody fantastic
Sorry,
one.
I'm
I'm having a
rambling.
great time. No. But I think you're touching on so many things that so many people go through, and myself included, this whole, you know, the drama of bodyboarding, the ups and downs, and the downs mostly. The ups are great, but they last a very short period of time. The downs seem to last longer. For like when you're down, you're real down. The ups kind of, they never last long enough. You know, we all know that feeling.
Yeah.
But also this kind of idea of this community around it, that kind of keeping, because it forms a pretty big part of your identity.
Oh, yeah.
And for you, you must have, I'm assuming like me, you know, you feel like there's a bit of you missing when you're not connected to it. You know, like you're not your full self.
No, not necessarily. I think sometimes you need to step away and like, okay, I'm not a part of the world tour and the design and the growth and all that. I've been a part of that for 10 years. I was a part of that through the 90s.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But I'm a part of it in another way, you know.
Right.
And that's still keeping, you know, I send Mike, when I seen him catch that one at Nazare like 4 years ago, he got fifth on the world tour to, how old is he now?
76 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I sent him, you know, well done, buddy. I'm so stoked. Thank you for keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then he rings me. You know,
Yeah.
he goes, I was so down on myself. I just bombed, blah blah blah. And I said, mate, don't be down on yourself.
Yeah.
Look at it. Like, people are grandfathers at this age. You're still bodyboarding professionally. I said, keep going.
Yeah.
Go until you're 90, mate. Just keep enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I really, you know, it doesn't matter what people think. It's about what you still get from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so I just think if you're still loving it at top level, I think the downs are more because it's what your expectations of the sport is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's when you get down. So my expectations is I'm still gonna put. I dream about winning the lotto, and I only want 3 mil. I dream about. I dream about winning the 60 mil, and I'm gonna put it towards the tour.
Oh,
yeah.
What percentage of how much of the 60 mil goes?
Yeah, I put 50 to it.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
cool.
so,
Bodyboarding just.
But no one gets it. It sits up here, and it gets drip fed.
Oh, okay.
So they get the drips, so they get the interest off that.
Oh, okay, the interest off the 50.
Yeah, no one gets the touch because then it keeps feeding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It never dies. So that keeps going, and then hopefully out of that they build something from it and own things, own a house, own something where a base is, own something, and then people who run the contest can actually earn money from the contest, Anyway, it's everybody's dream, and everyone has something.
but you did get a taste of because I grapple with this today, and not that I certainly don't chase a career or any money from bodyboarding at all. I don't see it, and I'm liberated by not seeing it. There's no expectation. There's nothing I have to take from bodyboarding now. When I was 21 years old, there was everything I wanted to take from it, and that's what killed it for me in many ways. But I'm also at this point where I just see it for its pure joy and also my own personal needs of I love to compete, I love to beat someone, I love to be beaten by someone many times and want to beat that person. And Jared Houston, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you, and I'm not done yet.
You will have a cold one day, Jared.
Yeah, exactly. Something has to give. But I enjoy that, and it makes me want to go back again and again and again.
Mate, I had some of the best heats. Like Carl Maligro, one of the most innovative bodyboarders of all time.
Right.
Back in our day, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I had great heats with him. I had great heats with me and GT back to back. Ben Holland, Bullet. I had one of my best heats again, back to back to Bullet at Sintra. With just this bank had started fading, and we moved over to this other bank, and it was just bang, wave for wave. And I remember saying to him, "You going this one?" And he went, yeah. And he went, and the next one was better. And I knew it too, because I'd been counting waves. Because that's what I used to do. Before I go into heats, I'd always count which one was the best wave.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Cool.
So I knew,
you had a good idea of the sets.
I knew the second one or the third one was going to be better.
Cool.
So I just sort of faded him. I just went, "You going?"
Who was the hardest competitor? Who was the biggest pain in your ass?
GT.
Yeah.
Yeah. GT and Kyle were probably because
that
Kyle
seems like polar opposites in their approach.
They both could do any move. GT could do more on a wave than me.
Right.
Yeah, and they both always, when they surfed against me, they went all out. You know what I mean? Like, they knew they had to go all out because they, I was the guy who invented stuff.
Right. So they knew they had a task.
Yeah, so GT beat me one year. I think it was 95. He beat me 4 times, 0.02, 0.02, 0.02, 0.05.
Crazy.
Yeah, that year. And, one of them, I got the interference call, double interference call.
Double interference call.
Down on the down south coast.
Like Kiama or something?
Where Ballard lives now. Wollongong.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just on the other side of Wollongong. Can't remember the actual spot. But yeah.
Double interference.
Double interference. They used it for years, apparently. Haddo told me they used it for years as a judging criteria. What would you do in these situations? How would you call this? Because it was a left-hand wave, but it had a right hand and a left-hand peak.
Right.
So it broke left, but this
there was a right.
But this wave broke here and split.
Right.
And GT and I crossed. Yeah. And I got that interference. It was 3-2. So 2 went double.
Right.
And 3 went single on me.
Right.
single interference. So I copped the interference.
Right.
Yeah, but we crossed. So
Yes.
that's a double interference.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's probably the second only time I ever blew up.
Yeah.
Krista went off more than me.
Right.
Yeah.
But was this another world title?
This was a part of it.
Yeah.
Mate. Yeah, that's
This
why
was a close loss.
That's why I blew up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd already been done a couple of times by .0
Yeah.
too, you know. And poor GT, he won the world title, but he goes to me once in Japan. We're in a wave pool event, and of course, back to back, we make it to the final, and I think you surfed 28 waves in the whole 2 days we were there. Like the wave took so long for the wave to come.
Crazy.
And I fell off first wave, so I wasn't going to win.
Right.
So we were in the final. I fell off. I blew it, but I got the last wave of the heat, and I attempt the double roll.
Right.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
And GT's standing on the beach. He goes, "Fuck you, Eppo. You always steal my thunder."
So he won the comp, but the crowd went wild for you.
And that's the same
great.
in Portugal. There was once at Sintra. That's the heat I did with
Bullet.
Bullet.
Yeah.
And then
I was
went
watching
out.
this not long ago.
I went out and GT beat me in the
Yeah.
next heat by .05.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the mayor come down to the president come down to the thing. They had bungee jumping on the beach in Sintra. It was nuts. And the president gives us our trophies, but the crowd's yelling something, and I could hear Eppo. And I, dun, dun, Eppo, dun, dun. And I'm like, Mariano, what are they saying? They're saying Eppo's the best. Eppo's the best.
And GT can totally understand what they're saying.
I get up to the front of the stage and I throw my flippers out, grab my sunnies, throw it out.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool.
Nah,
Damn, GT would have hated that.
He won 6 world titles.
He did
He
all right.
can carry it, mate.
He did all right, and his passion
he-
is still full on. Like he is still.
And mate, he's been an absolute legend throughout his career. Like I remember he brought I had the girls at this age, and we're in Singapore on our way to Mentawais.
Yeah.
And he paid for a dress for one of my daughters.
Oh,
you know, like
it's a class act.
Yeah, so he was always good like that. He always said he was jealous because I had a world title and I had a wife and 2 kids. But you know, I've since sent a text here going 6 world titles, 2 kids, and a beautiful wife.
Yeah,
Well
you're
done.
all right, mate. You got there.
You made it. Eventually, you got there.
Eventually
Mate.
you got there.
You beat me again.
Yeah. He's doing all right. Like, what's your to kind of get to a point where we can think? I don't even know how long we've been going for.
Oh,
How long
sorry.
No, this is a good one, and we're just got to watch the battery. So we're at an hour and a half. This is the longest podcast officially.
Oh shit!
It's great. It's great. No,
Sorry.
they're not bored. Let's finish off on a high note. You don't like talking about yourself that much, so I'm not going to ask a question about you so much, but more like a commentary on the riding of people today. And there was a few questions from people through Instagram about the move. You don't claim to have invented the moves as much as maybe the media wanted to communicate about you inventing moves and stuff like that. But looking at the way these moves are performed now, I mean, the double roll doesn't get a lot of play. To be fair, it's something
hurts, but
it's probably the hardest one.
It's the hardest out of the 3 by far.
Exactly. So, but looking at the ARS and the flip, or the back flip, who are the riders over the time since you kind of made these moves work? Is there a top 3 or is there a number 1 in your opinion who's really nailed these moves in a way? Maybe go with 3. Maybe it's easier with 3. Like if you
back when I was competing against people, I think Kyle was the one who polished him pretty good back then.
Wow.
Kyle Maligro. Yeah, he was really hard to beat, and he could do it on every angle, every wave. Where I think throughout, I don't know the younger generation that well, but I think Hub for the ARS.
Yeah.
I think he's polished that pretty damn good. And the other one would be, I'd say Pierre for the backflip. Yeah.
You give it to Pierre?
Yeah. But, yeah, I still got my heart on stone, Jake. Yeah.
I thought you were going to... I knew he was going to get in here.
Yeah, he was such a good rider.
Yeah.
And I think maybe because, you know, we mucked around and we, you know, the stone flip and that. Yeah.
Well, he took it to another level. Like he went, he did a little innovation on top.
Here in the backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
Yeah. And I'm so glad it's called the stone flip. Sorry, Toinsy.
Why Toinsy? What do you mean?
Because Toinsy, I think, brung up the something Lotus.
It was the Iron Lotus or whatever. Yeah,
and I was like, that's shit. No,
yeah,
right. Call it the stone flip.
Yeah, fair play. You gotta give it to the guy.
Hub called his the what?
Yeah, exactly.
The reverse roll hub.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely cool. Like, I mean, do you feel like lingering on stone, you know, because he really was that really dynamic, similar guy pushing limits, innovating, being creative, you know, like, how did that feel being a part of that journey with him?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was challenging. You know, Jake, I think Jake's problem was he struggled to be somewhere. You know, he struggled if he was home, he wanted to be somewhere else. If he was somewhere else, he wanted to be home. So he really struggled, and only in the last 2 to 3 years, he's actually really mastered to be now, and it's really great to see, you know, because he's an awesome kid, and yeah, he could have taken it to another level by far. I remember Pierre told him to come back on tour, you know, yeah, because he was such a dynamic, explosive rider for the sport.
Yeah, quite unpredictable.
Yeah.
I think that's what's cool about riders like him. I get the same feeling today. Like, fair play to Jared Houston. Like, I feel like he's unpredictable. Like, I don't know what he's going to do on a wave. So I'm quite excited. You know, having heat with him sucks because he keeps winning. But, like, watching him and, you know,
I love that about people.
Yeah, you don't know what's coming and you're like,
well, Winnie's like that too.
Winnie's definitely like that too.
Same with Mitch Rawlins. You know, honestly,
totally.
and like, but Hardy was the Mike Stewart. You know, he was the style master. You know, You know, apart from Mike, you can't sort of pick it. Riley was good back in the day. So for what we had back then and boards and everything, Riley was unreal. You know, but Hardy just took it to that other. You know, he just wanted to polish everything. Yeah.
We went through this. That whole polishing process has its downsides as well. The obsession around it and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's an interesting quality.
Yeah.
But you, like, I mean, so you're saying that, just to recap on that, you're giving Carmeligro from your period.
Yep.
The kind of the win there.
He was that. You didn't know what he was going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you knew he had the ARS and the backflip and something else up his sleeve on that side of the whichever way he went.
Yeah.
You know? So, and back then they were the main ones, you know.
Yeah, and obviously Hub, you know, makes a lot of sense when you say Hub, because obviously with the amount of airtime you were getting back in the day, which is still, I mean, it's still airtime that doesn't happen that much today.
It does.
It really doesn't. I don't know whether my memory is a young guy's memory and I'm just imagining things bigger
Well, we
than they
pushed
were.
it to our limits. Like, now they're taking, and I always said, they're taking it to the next limit. They're doing it on 6 to 8 foot waves. I was doing it on 3 to 6 foot waves.
I've seen some bigger stuff. You're just being modest. But, like, so Hub obviously was that kind of other, you know, that next gen a little bit for you, because there's a bit of age between you and him. Like, there's like almost 8 years or something.
I think his nickname was Seppo Eppo.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? He was Seppo Eppo.
Sorry,
that's correct. That's correct. So, but like, obviously that was a good feeling to see that kind of riding come through that guy.
I watched him come right through.
Yeah.
He met us in Tahiti. We were on our Tahiti. Remember I went to Tahiti with Mike, Seamus, Lanson?
Yes.
You know, so
Classic.
Hub was there on his school trip away or something.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and then he popped up the next season in Hawaii, and I went,
that kid.
Look at that kid.
Yeah,
and then I told Stroy about, that kid was in Tahiti. He's going to be good, this kid.
Yeah, right.
I think I said to him, you can quote me this, Hub, I think I said to you at Backdoor, I said, you'll win 3 world titles.
I think he's done it, hasn't he?
Yeah.
5 pipe titles too.
Yeah.
It's pretty good going.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
And he's back on. He's just as thirsty as ever for it.
Oh, yeah.
So Hub, and then you're going to give it to like Pierre / Stone for the kind of that other generation, that more
yeah.
later generation.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think anyone will argue with that.
I could name heaps. Honestly,
Of course you can.
It's all out there, but yeah, they're the
But
ones.
we've got a top 4 there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. We finished.
Hope you're bloody listening.
Sorry, guys.
You just got the, like Eppo's got his like sword out. And he's just giving you the final anointment of the carriers of the moves. Well, look, I can say thank you.
No worries.
Hopefully on behalf of everyone listening. And
they're all snoring.
well, no, they're not snoring. I mean, the frustration for me, like, I love and hate you actually when it comes to my competition world, because I have to do your moves to try and win heats. Like, I have to do them, and they're hard. Like, they're really hard.
Jay Real thanks me because that kept him on the tour for a few more years.
Because he got the flips in, he got him in. Yeah, I know. And I know Kingy as well, like in the interview I did with him, he goes, he couldn't do the backflips, and Amora gave him exactly.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. Cool. And I was like, cool, me too. I was like, shit, here's something I need to use. So, like, it's a funny thing to be so inspired by someone, you, and then also just be like, fucking hell, I've got to, like, damn it, I've got to do these things again.
No way, I'm struggling to do them these days.
No, you're doing all right. Thank you.
No worries.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for dinner too.
No worries.
Hope you enjoyed that. It's pretty epic.